Wow. 4 out of 10. Like, it's sort of like the SATs where you get a 4 just by putting your name on the paper.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
They
So,
get a 4 because they came out with a cool name.
Okay, a 4 marons out of 10. Wow, that's
Oh,
crazy.
4
All right,
marons.
Oh,
You know, Halloween. Get them out of here.
Get
All
out
right,
of here.
yo, shout out to the King dying. It took 8 episodes. He finally got
Hey,
it.
man. We're getting right into it because we're a few minutes late.
Wow.
What is up? What is up, GGEN?
go.
What is up, Twitch? Anyone from YouTube, Facebook, doesn't matter. What's going on? I got the full crew here again. As you can see, it's all around here.
Boys. Theater Room, episode 60. Let's go.
Let's go.
Guys, we have everybody
6-0
with us, rocking and rolling the big 6-0 Zuplex. What's Gucci, homie?
What's going on, big dog? Feeling good tonight. Episode 60. It's gonna be epic.
You're looking good too there,
This
my
guy.
amigo. We got a little ScytheX. What's going on, brother?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? I'm ready to go.
Wow.
I mean, no energy.
Spartacris. I have to turn the gain up a little bit here. Spartacris,
Gain that energy.
what's going
Let's
on,
go.
bro? Talk to me.
I'm amped.
Talk to me,
I'm
Spartacris.
amped because we got a horrendous. I'm sorry, I don't want to give away the spoilers from my Halloween Ends conversation, but we got movie reviews, some big finales, and I have there's a pretty deep question here. Big trailer drop and a pretty deep question. So I'm amped. Episode 60. I never thought I'd be doing 60 of these, boys. 60 of these I've done. I'm happy with myself.
That's age. Get ready for another 600. One shot.
Let's go.
How you feeling over there? I want you to drop a hot take on us. Go ahead, one shot.
I'm feeling fucking wonderful, John.
There we go. There's the energy.
There he is.
There he is. Listen.
Oh
guys,
yeah.
I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to be here with the full crew again. We have some great topics on the docket, but I want to start with something real spicy first. The Halloween Ends review. Spartacris, I'm going to take it to you. I want to get this out of the way here for everybody involved. I am not a Halloween dude. I'm not a scary movie dude. I'm not even like the comedy scary movie dude, okay? So, Spartacris, talk to us about Halloween Ends, dude.
So, the movie sucked. It was so bad. I'm a horror fan in general, right? I'm a jumper, okay? Steve knows this. Anyone who's seen me play anything a little scary or whatever, I jump. Even if it's not scary, I still jump. I'm a pussy like that. I love slasher flicks. The gorier, the better. I want to see kills. I want to see violence. There's like almost none of it in Halloween Ends. This is Michael Myers, right? Kind of like the GOAT, and none of it. He barely is in the movie. At the end when he shows up, he's weak as shit. It was the worst of the trilogy. The worst of the trilogy.
Hold on a second. There's a Halloween movie with no slashing and no Michael Myers?
Michael Myers was in it, I would guess, for I didn't look this up. I would guess for a total of 10 minutes out of a 2-hour movie. He's barely in the movie. I think they wanted his presence to be felt, so they just kind of kept talking about him and mentioning his legacy and all kinds of shit. But it ended up being more of an origin story for a brand new character that was introduced in this movie out of a trilogy, and it was straight garbage. It took me 5 or 6 times to finally finish the movie. I forced myself to watch it. It was brutal. And the first remake, 2018, I think it came out, fantastic, excellent movie. The second one was okay, but at least it had the kills and the gore and all that stuff. And this one, I think they felt like the final scenes and fight and all that stuff would make up for the entire movie, but it doesn't. They failed miserably. It was such a horrible, horrible way to end the trilogy, and I'm very upset, but I'm glad it's over.
All right,
honestly, and I don't do low scores too often. 4 out of 10 for me. It was fucking garbage. It was really bad. I didn't like it at all.
Zuplex, House of the Dragon, episode 9, bro. I'm going to start out with you, man. Talk to me.
Overall, I really liked the episode. I don't know if they're following the typical Game of Thrones, like the finale is the second last episode of the season. I don't think they're following that. I think they're going back to a traditional, the finale is going to be the last episode of the season, because if this was the big finale, it was a miss.
Right. I agree.
But as a precursor to the actual finale, I think it works. So we got to wait and see what happens next week.
It wasn't that strong of an episode to me. I was hoping for more tension from the princess. I was hoping like we would get a glimpse of her learning the news before the episode ended. We didn't get anything from her, which I thought was a pretty big miss on their part. They're going to jam pack it all in one finale, and I think that's just going to be a jumbled mess. But
I hope not.
The cool part to me was them announcing the king and crowning him, even though I don't agree with how they go about him being the king. But regardless, I thought that was a cool like setting. And him like not wanting to be king, and then seeing the people in front of him finally like they're slow clapping because I feel like everybody was still all on board for the princess. They were just, it was in their heads that the princess is going to be queen and that's the end of it. And they're all kind of like, do we clap? Do we not clap? Is this legit or not? But when they all start clapping, eventually you see him kind of like start feeling himself a little bit, and he lifts his sword up. I thought it was a cool moment. I didn't understand the point of crashing the dragon into everyone and murdering half the people that were there just to nod to the queen or the king. Like that shit made no sense to me. I thought it was like a pointless thing. She's like, she finally escaped, but then she comes back and kills everyone. It didn't make sense to me. And like I thought they dragged out searching for him too long. Like that didn't need to take half the episode of them looking for him.
Give me a number. Give me a number out of 10. I'm gonna get back to Zoo. I'm gonna end it off on him. Give me another. Scythe, give me a number out of 10.
7.6.
7.6. One shot. You all caught up on House of the Dragon?
No.
Smartest guy in this room. Spartacris.
What's up, man?
Go ahead, bro.
I'll keep it short and sweet. My guess is this first season of House of the Dragon is more of a prelude to the actual House of the Dragon show, which is why we didn't get the major moment. That's my first guess. My second guess, if that one's wrong, is that maybe they thought that Viserys the First dying was going to be a major or as impactful as Ned Stark dying in season 1. Spoiler alert to Fred if he ever decides to watch Game of Thrones. And, it wasn't, so they failed on that one. Overall, I thought this episode was okay, but it was kind of more of the same. Like we kind of know, we knew the power struggle was coming, so I feel like they didn't really deliver on the promise of like everyone getting angry and the kind of battle that we were expecting. I agree with you. They took way too long to find. I think it's Aegon, right? Or I think he was the one who was crowned. Way too long for that. Visually, the show is still good. It's a solid show, so it is what it is. I also agree the whole scene with the dragon was literally someone of the producers saying, well, we need some spectacle. It's episode 9. So they said, all right, how about she just murders hundreds of people with a dragon? And they're like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. This was, for me, the first episode that just a lot of it didn't really make sense. Everything else was, every other episode had moments, but this, like the entire episode, I was kind of like, all right, like I guess this is where we are. But yeah, if I had to give it a number, I would give this episode probably like a 6.8, something like that, like just under a 7.
Wow, lower than me.
Yeah, I wasn't
even lower than the resident Kenny Austin. That is
God.
wild.
The problem is
Duplex. Give me a number.
My expectation for episode 9 is like up here, and this episode dropped into here, so that's why.
So I'm gonna go with a 7.5 on the episode. It didn't deliver the punch that I wanted it to.
Wow. I rated it higher than both of you?
You definitely rated it higher because you didn't want to be called Kenny Austin, and then you started called Kenny.
No.
If you went last, it would have been lower than us.
I agree. I got it.
No.
If you would have been like 3.9, dude. I mean, this was terrible. But you thought for sure they were gonna beat 8. You can't add it. We know you.
Yeah, we know you, dude.
we can spot a Kenny Austin from a mile away. I want to move into the show that people really want to hear about. Let's
show that's actually doing better numbers.
Let's talk. And it's really the only.
It's facts.
Let's talk about the Ring of Power and quite possibly the greatest season finale
I don't know about that. I don't know about. I can't
Would
agree
you
with that.
say?
Not
Would
even
you
close.
say it was
Not even
epic?
close.
Scythe, I want to get your take. Is everybody here caught up on Ring of Power? Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get these two out of the way, and then we'll end with us. So, Zuplex, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Ultimately failed
This
as
guy.
an out.
This guy ultimately
So-
failed.
It does. It does. It does. I'm sorry, but like it wasn't as good
Are you sorry though?
as anything you could possibly imagine could have happened in this show. First off, the writing in the show is god awful. It's some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in any show. And I'll give you a perfect example. The witches things are fighting the fucking stranger, right? They think they're trying to turn him into Sauron. He's obviously not Sauron. He has this big epic scene where he fights back at him with the staff. And what does he yell out? He yells out, "I am good.
Yeah.
I am good."
That's
What?
character
the best
development.
thing
Wait a
come up
minute.
with.
That's character
That's
development,
the
though.
best
What
thing
did you
come
want?
up with.
What did you want him to yell out? Let's
Anything
fucking
else.
go!
Anything else.
I am the
Anything else.
man.
Anything else.
I am the man
Go
right
to
now.
hell!
Shitty writing. It's shitty writing when you have to have your characters tell the audience who's good and who's bad. I'm sorry, but that's just bad writing.
Are you
That's
kidding?
bad writing.
I'm gonna let him
Any
go.
way you look
The
at
dude
it.
has like a kindergarten level speech.
Any way you look at it,
Don't
it's
Scythe.
bad
He's just hating.
writing.
He's just
No
hating.
I know.
Then we
No
get
problem.
the
The
Sauron
writing.
reveal.
Go ahead.
Then we get the Sauron reveal, right?
Mhm.
Which I'll
Which
give it
was
to him.
mind blowing.
Which I'll give it to him. I don't think anyone expected that dude to
Yeah.
be Sauron.
Awesome.
Very
Absolutely.
smart. They ruined it by having it be revealed in a dream sequence and then him never show up for the rest of the episode. And then they spent 40 minutes showing them
show up.
smelt rings.
He did show
Whole
up.
end of the episode is them smelting rings.
Yeah, but that's significant in the Lord of the Rings
Very
lore,
s-
man. That's a
Of course.
huge moment.
You need 25 minutes of them doing it. That's a 3-minute scene.
You should appreciate that. You spent 15 years waiting for a king to die.
Wait, but that's also
Oh my god, bro! It's just ridiculous.
but that's
It's
character
absolutely-
development. We watch the rings grow from
No, it's
nothing
ring
into
development.
rings.
It's jewelry making for
Watch
for
them
men.
how they figured it out using
Oh, the
Just
whole
hating.
part
Yeah.
of
3 seconds.
her brother's dagger because it had to be pure metal.
Yeah, they
That
figured
was-
that out in 3 seconds,
Steve's
and
just
then we had
enjoying
to watch
himself over here.
slow-mos of molten metal being moved through the thing for 20 minutes, and they're like, "This is the most epic finale of all time." Stop it, bro! It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
Man,
Go
you're
ahead.
really, you're
Move
really
on to
hating on
somebody
it.
else.
All
I'm
right,
fine. Let me
Sparta-
get frustrated.
Oh, Zuplex, do me a favor. Could you give me a number review so we know what we're not touching after that? Can you give me a review real quick, please?
All right, no joke. This is my actual number review for the finale. I'll give it a 7.0.
Okay.
For the entire show, it's a 5.8.
Great. Okay,
5.8.
Spartacris.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm gonna say something that Zuplex is not gonna like. I'm gonna say it right now. Okay, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. House of the Dragon, right? Episode 1 starts here. Ring of Power for me starts here. Scythe, you said this last week. As the season went on, it just started doing this, and for me, the last 3 episodes, and we still have 1 episode of House of the Dragon, but this finale I thought was way better than episode 9 of House of the Dragon. I
It's gonna
was
take
into
10
it.
episodes. It's going to take 10 episodes of House of the Dragon to sniff Power the
Ring of Powers, yeah.
Ring of Power's balls.
Yeah, no,
To sniff the balls.
Listen, they've done.
Okay.
I've been saying
hopefully
from
the
the
extra
beginning.
2 will help. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I've been saying from the beginning. Ring of Power had the visuals. I thought Ring of Power was much better visually than House of the Dragon. Now, House of the Dragon's good, but Ring of Power, I thought just the creature work, the CG, the environments, everything just looked phenomenal. I don't 100% disagree about the writing, I guess, but that's kind of the lifeblood of Lord of the Rings. If you read the books and watched the movies, the writing is not some like Shakespearean level shit. It's, pretty on the nose. Everyone, if you're a hero, you're a hero. If you're a bad guy, you're a bad guy. This is the first time in a Lord of the Rings property that some of the characters are a little kind of shades of gray. You don't really know who's good. You don't know who's bad. The good guys kind of do shady shit. Like the reveal of Sauron knocked me down. I was like, holy shit! I did not expect that at all. Gandalf,
awesome.
we all kind of all guessed that the wizard was going to end up being Gandalf, so I was kind of like, all right, like they did a good job, whatever. So I thought it was really good. I mean, I was into it from beginning to end. I loved it, and if I have to give it a number, for me, the finale was like a 9 out of 10. I really just enjoyed it.
Chris, what was your overall rating?
For the whole season, I'd probably throw it into like the high sevens, like 7.8, 7.9, something like that. I just felt like it took a while to kind of start running. And then once, I would say probably episode 5-ish, episode 6, whenever they had that one the episode where I can't think of the character's name, where the elf was like fighting his way out of captivity and all that stuff.
Out
From
of
that
the pit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
five, yeah.
That was 5.
So from that point on, I feel like it was kind of firing on all cylinders. I was interested. Even the Harfoot started to become a little interesting to me, and they really started to kind of operate at a higher level. So, yeah, I would say like high 7s for sure.
I loved this finale. I mean, yeah, did the show start really slow? Absolutely. But as Chris pointed out, thank you for agreeing with me.
Yeah.
The show just kept climbing, man.
It did.
It just kept getting better and better and better. And the reveal for Sauron, I just need to say, watching the mind fuck he was putting on Galadriel was incredible.
But it's nice. It's
just-
nice that you still don't know if he's doing it on purpose, or
Right.
if he like at this point believes like he is trying to help. You know what I mean? Like I think they've done a great job with that. 100%, they did a great job with that.
And like the whole point of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of shit. Like you're helping me defeat my enemy, so yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I loved it, man. The reveal blew me away, just like you guys. Was the rings creation a little long? Maybe, but it was still enjoyable seeing them like even like Sauron, now that we can call him that,
Yeah.
hey, why don't you stretch the ore out? And I was like, looked at him like, oh, maybe we could do that. It was interesting. And like, they're just tinkering and figuring it out. And I thought it was cool seeing them like fail and fail and fail. And eventually they found the right ingredients to make this work. The king not being on board for the plan was like, all right, get out of here. You're useless.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
like,
that's an unnecessary obstacle.
okay,
We all know what's going to happen.
yeah.
So.
Run away. Let them figure it out, because clearly you don't give a shit. But I wanted to see the one big problem I had in this episode being the finale. We didn't get the dwarf friend once, and I wanted him to be there because he's
Doran.
Yeah. I'm terrible with names. I forget them all the time. But dude, I loved him as a character throughout this whole series. Yep. So the fact that we didn't get him in the finale kind of sucked. But yeah, dude, overall, Galadriel coming back to the elves and they're like, "You're still alive? Like, what are you doing?"
That was huge. That was cool.
Yeah, like it was awesome, man. Overall, this episode blew me away as a finale, and I'd probably say a 9.4 out of 10. Like it was just
coming in high.
It was a fantastic episode.
Let me get to my point here.
I call a spade a spade when I see it, bro.
Yeah, let John give his review.
Yeah, so let me call a spade a spade. First of all, I'm sitting on the couch with the wife. Sauron gets revealed. I stopped the show. We both looked at each other. We said, "No fucking way." Okay, that's number one. When you're watching a show and you're, because the whole time I'm thinking to myself, he's definitely related to the king in Lord of the Rings, the end king, right? Like this is one of the 9 kings that get a ring. That's what I'm thinking. He turns bad. Sauron, he's one of the 9 kings Sauron gives a ring to. That's what I'm thinking. So for him to be, I'm like, oh my God. Galadriel finally tells the guy to find the scrolls, gives him the scrolls. She's reading. He shows up, and when she's asking him questions, I'm like, this cannot be him.
Saw the face change.
Cannot be. I'm like, the whole fucking time, the fight, the wizard going on, they're going nuts about it. The internal struggle, whatever, they're fighting each other. And he's like, he's learning, and it's funny because you can see his strength, and even the witches who are essentially saying like, we're here to serve you, and they have to teach him his powers and help him learn.
Right.
It's everything about it blew me away. The episode was nuts. I even love the fact that now we know the queen is blind, and the captain is serving her and essentially saying like, no matter what, we fight.
Yep.
Now we're in. right? Like
Mhm.
at this point, my son's dead. You can't see. They show back up. Her dad is dead. All the black flags are there. You wonder the one senator what role he's gonna take
Right.
now.
He's doing some shady shit.
You
He's
know
plotting.
he's plotting. You saw the king open up the secret doorway, and the daughter of the captain she unveiled the globe. There's so much that is going on at the end, and it's crazy to me because at the end, Sauron's standing in front of fucking Mordor, bro. What do you
Right.
mean you didn't see him
Right.
again?
How
He's
awesome
standing in
was
front
that?
of the volcano. He's standing in front of his
Again,
volcano.
it was a lot of huge moments in Lord of the Rings lore
Yeah.
Mhm.
that we just
Yeah.
watched. I don't know.
Bro,
I feel like
get
it
it.
got me.
I get it, Zoop. I totally get it, bro. The making of the rings, I get it, brother. I do. I totally get that it was long, it was drawn out, but I can tell you that the first 4 episodes were even longer and drawn out.
Yep.
No doubt.
That's true.
They were very, very. I mean, even for me, and I love Lord of the Rings, dude. And I was like, okay, an hour and 8 minutes. Holy shit, bro!
Yeah.
Like this is.
Yeah.
It's but we knew we were hoping. We knew what it was for. Episode 5, we cranked it up.
Yep.
Episode 6, we got a battle. Episode 7 and episode 8
Right
were
down the middle.
and episode 8 were like this.
Yeah.
What
Mhm.
the fuck is
We really
going
did.
on?
That's
Yeah.
100% how the path of the show.
Ending it here because we're gonna move right on to the next one here. For me, just the review, overall review, I'm gonna give it 8.2. I think the last 4 episodes really resuscitated it.
I was going
And I-
8.1.
And I think it's there for me. It's not there's still more to be desired for sure. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next She-Hulk finale. We're here with a lot of episodes, a lot of shows ending, a lot of finales, and one shot. Are you finally ready to comment here, or you're like, no, you're out? What are we doing here?
When I watched it,
Okay, so
I
I'm
wa-
gonna start. I'm gonna start out with you because I'm sure you're gonna tell us good. So go ahead, talk to us.
it was good. No, I loved it. I thought it was great. I think the only person here that's going to agree with me on that, though, is Zuplex.
It's probably true.
It was
But I
trash.
thought it was genius how they ended it. Now, I didn't like how they had Scar. I didn't like his look, that little fucking top-notch shit they had. But aside from that, loved it. Loved the direction they went. Loved how they made the Kevin robot. It was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very smart way of ending this season of She-Hulk. It really leads into what her character is about, what the show is supposed to be about. I will say that it would have been stronger had they could have done everything they did with the whole like jumping out of the menu on the Disney Plus app and going to Marvel Studios and talking to Kevin and everything like that. They could have done all of that if they had then done a rewind and showed us the scene that she had set up with Kevin. I think it would have been a much stronger ending. But other than that, I think this was a very, very accurate way to end a She-Hulk series. You know, it's a good way for, like, she was breaking fourth walls before Deadpool, right?
Chris was so
So-
disgusted he left.
She was breaking fourth walls before Deadpool.
Did he go get a gun?
They said at the beginning of
I think
this,
he did.
she makes points at the beginning of the season to say that like this is her show. This is the show that she wants. She wants it to be a legal comedy, you know.
Right.
And
Remember
and
that.
she doesn't want it to.
Remember you said that.
She doesn't want it to be like every other Marvel property, and they delivered on it.
No.
Spartacris is. But first of all, if whoever's watching and who's gonna watch this, let me just give you a beautiful description. His head looks like a tomato at this point. He's ready to explode. Okay, he covered his nose like a clip. He shook his head. He's got to go
That's
see a
so
chiropractor at this point. The guy got up, came back.
I'm out of
With
breath
a
now.
gun,
'cause of it.
maybe? Possibly a gun?
Spartacris, go ahead and walk us through these emotions you have running through your body. right now.
This It's just it was brutal. It ruined the whole show. I enjoyed the show mostly, but it was freaking brutal. Okay, you said it yourself. They wanted it to be a legal comedy, so why not use the legal part in the finale? There was no legal part. Instead, you know, the finale started off kind of off the rails, and she called it out, which was funny. She was like, "Is this what you guys really want? Like, this isn't working. Whatever, fine." She punches through the Disney Plus screen. I was like, "Oh, you know, that's good. You broke the fourth
Clever.
wall. Excellent." She starts yelling at the writers. Fine, okay, awesome. Then we get to watch She-Hulk, and I'm gonna emphasize the word Hulk. Hulk, meaning super strong, indestructible, gets stronger the angrier she gets. Fight security guards, regular human security guards, to talk to Kevin, which, okay, the joke is Kevin Feige is a robot. Yeah, okay, awesome. For, I don't know, the entire episode. And then she's like, okay, let's get back to the episode. And what do you know? Everything's done. We don't see her in court at all. We don't see her prosecuting anybody. Nothing. Like, are you kidding me?
That part I'll agree with you on.
Like my thing is, and here's my problem. The entire episode would have been better if they added 20 minutes after the whole breaking the fourth wall thing, and then let her actually wrap up her show the way she wants to do it. Instead, it was, we're gonna tell this one big joke, and I'll give it to you, that was a big swing by Marvel. But then they come back and the show's over, done. That would be like if we go into the Game of Thrones episode 9. We see the beginning of a series, the first is dead. Then someone looks at the camera and goes, I feel like, we got to this really quickly, and then started talking to somebody, comes back, and all of a sudden we're just told that Aegon's king and Rhaenyra's just going to hear about it in the next episode, and they're like, okay, cheers, and they just walk away. Like, it was dumb. Or if they go in Ring of Power, if who ends up being Sauron looks at the camera and goes, I'm Sauron, and then that's it. Now he's like right back to Lord of the Rings. Like, it was such a stupid, they thought they were way too smart for their own good. I'm going to be honest. Whoever wrote that was like, oh, I got it. We're going to do something totally different, guys. They thought they were way too smart for their own good. They failed miserably, to the point, in my opinion, and I have some distance from it now because I've been thinking about this for days. They basically ruined the entire season with that one episode. Literally everything that I got into in the whole season was worthless, was garbage. I understand there's going to be another season, and like a fucking cocksucker, I'm going to watch that season, but this finale was, in my opinion...
Cocksuckers do watch shows.
In my opinion, this finale may have been, I think, Scythe, you may have said this to us in the chat, may be one of the worst things Marvel has put on screen. It really was so bad, I did not like it. The only thing I can say for it, instead of giving it a 0, I'll give it a 2 out of 10 because the CG looked okay. Like, that's it. And Steve, to your point, I have been saying I want World War Hulk for the longest time. I've been dying for a live-action World War Hulk. They brought us Scar, and I should be excited about that. But all I felt was like, fuck you. You thought that you could have a terrible episode and then go, oh, wait,
Family.
Scar's here, and then Scar's going to come out? No, and I'm going to be excited? No. I was so mad. I was so upset. Buttersworth says the comedy in She-Hulk is like Robert De Niro, dry and terrible. That's pretty... for the finale, that's a good description. She had 2 good jokes in that finale, and the rest of it, I was over it. I really didn't like it. So 2 out of 10 is not really the right score. I don't know what I would give it, but I didn't like it at all.
Thank you guys for joining me in my feelings, because I've been like saying it forever, and you guys finally got there. You finally got there with me,
Well,
except
me.
for Zuplex. He loved it.
No, Steven Carmine loved it. I'm the one who hated it.
Oh, all right. So, Chris, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
This episode was dog shit.
It was dog shit.
It was dog shit. Like, first of all, the story that they thought the fans wanted was terrible. It wasn't what we wanted at all. Right. When she finally breaks the fourth wall, like what you said, it was like, okay, yeah, that was clever, it's cute, whatever. And then she does it again, and then it just kept like progressing, and it was like, all right, like, can we get back to the episode of what we're actually doing here? Like, can we see the villain? Can we do what are we doing? And we never got there. We just kept breaking more walls and seeing writers and babies and
Yeah.
Listen, by the way, this is much more. By the way, I had to add some sort of. You say bye bye She-Hulk.
Yeah.
The show was trashy. You see, even my daughter said bye
She-Hulk
bye
doo-doo.
She-Hulk doo doo.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Fred. I gotta jump back in real quick. The only 3 things that were good in the entire episode: the intro, which was like basically a callback to the old TV show, really well done.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
The joke where she's basically like, "This is what Hulks do. My cousin smashes buildings. I smash bad endings." And sometimes Charlie Cox or Matt Murdock, like that was a funny joke. And then that's really it. That's just those 2 things.
Yeah.
Nothing else really got me. Everything was so silly.
Apparently the I think Steve posted this or someone did, but what's his name? Edward Norton was supposed to come back in the finale, which would have been a cool little twist. I thought that would have been neat, but they didn't do it. They scratched it for what we got, which was terrible. Kevin being a robot.
I'm glad they didn't do it.
I thought it would have been cool. It would have been cool to see him.
I'm glad they didn't do it also.
It wouldn't have added anything to the story because we didn't get anything in the story in the finale anyway, so it doesn't matter. I thought it just been cool to see him. Even Kevin being a robot was dumb.
Even the whole that group, I can't even think of the fucking Intelligentsia. Like
Intelligentsia.
we had a few breadcrumbs throughout the season. In the end, I guess we got the reveal of who was really running it.
Grand reveal was
and then she was like, "Wait, Kevin, I don't like this." And then that was it. It was just over. Like it just was so stupid. I really didn't like it,
dude. Scar, like coming, he looked awful. Like I did not like his look. The whole Fast and Furious ending of Family was bullshit.
Garbage.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, seriously, this is like Kevin. Like,
we love you.
Stop. If you're doing great with Star Wars right now, but you're pulling yourself away from Marvel because what he's doing in Marvel is just not working. It's starting to fail. And what's the name? Can the Hulk be bigger? You saw him against Abomination. He was like a little friggin' action figure compared to the Abomination.
Was he that small compared to Abomination
he was
in the Incredible
tiny,
Hulk movie?
Bro. He was so
no,
tiny.
He wasn't Professor Hulk in the Incredible Hulk.
Well, that's true. I mean, yeah, in that movie, he's a different.
Just because he's Professor Hulk, he's like this little guy. Like
Boys,
he's as tall as She-Hulk. It was terrible, bro.
John's trying to reel it in right now.
boys, listen, boys. I'm the smartest mother effer in this room.
Because you didn't watch the show.
Because I didn't watch the show, suckers. I told you.
You missed out.
I told you on dog shit.
No, it's worth watching until the finale.
I told you off the rip. I looked at
the finale erased the whole show.
Watch through Daredevil and then stop.
The finale was a 1 out of 10, and the overall show dipped down to a 4.5. Like it was bad. It was bad.
We are getting a mixed bag of nuts, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really like from Moon Knight to Loki to Hawkeye to WandaVision to this. We're getting a mixed bag of nuts right now, and all of us, I think, collectively talked, extensively about Marvel's direction. They sort of laid out the direction at D23, and they've been kind of laying it out, but it still feels like it's still missing so much, and everything they do is just not hitting the mark. But you know what did hit the mark?
What? What's that?
Creed 3. Guys, have we all seen the Creed 3 trailer? Please.
I did.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I did watch it.
Oh, Steve, it goes back. I know you didn't watch it, but I was talking to the other guys that watched it. I was talking to the other guys. So all of you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, we did a reaction to it, Scythe and I. At one point, I think I was getting ready to just swing at my laptop just because I was jacked up. I almost got up. I almost ran a mile, and anyone who knows me knows I haven't run in years. So I want to get your take on it. Zuplex, you watched it. Give me your take, bro.
Real quick before you do, CCiano82, thanks for following the group. We appreciate the support, my man.
Hey,
Thanks,
my guy.
man. Appreciate you. So really strong trailer. Really excited for this movie. I'm very happy that they're not going with the son of Clubber Lang
They can't.
aspect.
Yeah.
which I thought which was a rumor that they were going to do. I'm very happy that they're not doing that. Instead, what they're basically doing is rebooting Clubber Lang into Jonathan Majors. Basically, like
Well,
he's Clubber Lang, but not Clubber Lang.
It's a little bit of
which
Clubber
I'm
Lang and
completely
Tommy
fine
Gunn.
with. Yeah, he's
It's
like
a little bit of the
Clubber Lang
combo
and
there,
Tommy
right?
Gunn. Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. Majors looks awesome. He looks jacked.
Kang is gonna fuck up the Avengers, dude.
Jacked.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I feel about Rocky not being in it. That's the one drawback.
Dog
They didn't really mention anything in the trailer. He mentions him once. Yeah, one thing right at the beginning. He's like, I did this for Rocky and I did this for my dad, but they don't really say anything. I'm assuming that they killed him off screen. He probably finally succumbed to the cancer. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how well this movie's gonna translate without Rocky there. I hope it does well. Like I want it to do well, and the trailer got me jacked up to see it. But knowing that Rocky's not there, I think may hurt it. But we'll see. We gotta wait and see on that.
Spartacris?
So here's my thing. The movie looks good. He really does. You know, I'm glad they're not doing the Clubber Lang thing either, because if you're not going to have Rocky in it, you can't have Clubber Lang. Like, the history is there between the two of them, so I'm glad they're not doing that. Hopefully they aren't, because he makes that comment about, like, you know, you can't escape the past or whatever, so who knows what that really means. But I find it hard to even muster up the energy to go see this movie, because behind the scenes, for anyone who doesn't know, the people who own the Rocky franchise will not sell even 1% of it to Sylvester Stallone. He's asking for a small amount for his legacy so he can leave it to his kids and his family, and they're just kind of like, nah, screw you, man, it's Rocky, we own it, and that's it. And it frustrates the crap out of me. I think that's annoying. As far as I'm concerned, Rocky is Sylvester Stallone. You know, so it just, for me, that's kind of an air of negativity around the whole thing, and it's kind of hard to even get into it, honestly. The trailer looked cool, but maybe I'll just wait till it comes out on streaming. I don't think I can support the theater for this one.
Scythe?
To me, by the way, the history thing you were talking about, I think just means because they were childhood friends between the two of them.
I hope it does. I hope that's what it means, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I think me and John were talking about, like, the fact that they're going with the childhood, like, oh, they're best friends. There's so much history between them, and like them growing apart and him going to jail and all that stuff. I thought that was such a cool avenue to take with the two characters. I said before, I'm just gonna call him King the Conqueror from now on, because
his name, isn't it?
He's just jacked. He's gonna demolish the Avengers, like you said. But
in my head canon, this is a variant of Kang, just
yeah,
fucking up
like
Apollo or Adonis.
he's just a
Coming up by Creed.
monster.
Yeah.
What me and the captain saw in the trailer was him actually getting Majors getting titles. So at some point he actually either defeats Creed or defeats somebody to get these titles to kind of like, I think Captain, you were saying, like, to bump up his level to be on par with Creed. Right. But it could be like, hey, he took Creed out and now Creed has to like get it back type of thing as well. But overall, to me, the feeling, what?
I got the feeling through the trailer that Creed had retired. And
yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Training him.
Yeah.
It did look like that. He was a trainer, promoter.
That's the feeling I got through the trailer.
Maybe, but in the beginning of the trailer, it showed him with his two belts in the ring, unless that was like a flashback or something. But
but that could be how the movie starts, and then he retires right after that.
Maybe. Yeah, you could be right.
A la Clubber Lang.
Yeah. It's definitely rehashing Rocky 3. It's what it feels like. It's just instead of Clubber Lang, it's an old friend of Adonis, which is fine. Yeah. I mean, that's that's good.
To me, this trailer, even though it mentioned Rocky once, and yeah, he's obviously missed in his own world, it feels like this movie can stand on its own with what I saw. It just feels like that to me.
Real quick, B.A. Chavez says Cy doesn't know what he's talking about, so don't listen to him.
Yo, Chavez,
I guess he's a
go
friend of
go in
yours.
the woods, go in the Alaskan woods and
I'm
get
gonna be-
lost, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with Chavez. It's an accurate statement what he says about Scythe. The majority of the time, if we're not talking about She-Hulk or Ring of Power, he has no idea what he's talking about. So very accurate.
Apparently.
Chavez. But
Apparently.
but I mean, listen, dude. At the end of the day, I watched that trailer and I was jacked up.
Yeah, I wanted to punch everything in my house.
I said music, right? Scythe, we talked about it. The deep
Music.
drums, the vibe. You're sitting there and you're just kind of like, woo, shit's about to get real. Like we're getting there. I don't look at it so deep, Chris, as you do. Here's my thing. It's bad business from the beginning.
100%.
Right? He didn't ask for a deal. He didn't get a deal. He made this movie, whatever it may have been. He didn't take his opportunity. That's not on anybody else. They continue to make 500 more Rockies. And quite frankly, like now that we're at Creed, now that we're at something else, now you're really coming out at 78 years old, bitching to us about something. Not my problem, Stallone. You're a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, but he created.
I understand what I'm saying, but what I mean by that is he created it, but you could have taken that legal battle at Rocky 1, right? You could have taken it at 2.
No, because he didn't sell until after Rocky 5.
Okay, so then at Rocky 5, but then why do we get 6? Why do we get 6? Because
Right, like why not him say at that point, I'll sell you 99% of it. Let me keep 1%. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad point.
To me, it's not.
Yeah.
That's not my problem. Like Stallone, you're an ass. Okay, bro, my bad. Like that's not for me to say. And that's not for like you instead continued to push the envelope and agree. That's not for anybody else's. And it like, Michael B. Jordan continues to hit a home run on his role. I think the fact that the storyline, or whatever it is, it's regurgitated. Listen, in Rocky 1, he was a nobody. It was a nobody that got a chance. In Creed 1, he was a nobody, even though he had a name. He got a chance, whatever. He loses like he did in Rocky 1. He loses in Creed 1.
Sorry.
I don't know, it was so funny.
No, Ciano82
says I watched the trailer and knocked out my wife and daughter.
No, but that's what I mean. But you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I borderline. I thought about it. I didn't want to do the jail time, so I decided against it. But it's a great call, though. Good for you. If you don't get caught, it never will leave this podcast. By the way,
yeah.
Well, we know nothing.
That will only be on Patreon, so it'll be behind the paywall.
Right.
Only.
Right.
We got your back.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no cameras in the house. But it's listen, in Creed 2, he wins the belt finally. What does he do? He comes back, he fights Drago's son. Rocky's there, he goes through his journey. Now 3, it looks like a Clubber Lang type of thing. A guy who comes out of the inner cities.
Right.
He was in jail.
Who's a little hungrier.
Hungry. Yeah. He's ready to go. He's knocking people out. He's kicking ass and taking names. Rocky was the pretty boy in 3. Mickey was setting him up with the cake fights. Now Adonis has the cake fights. Now he's kind of walking through. Looks like it's the same thing. Here's the difference. The difference is that the acting that we're getting in this movie to me is so next level above what I got from Rocky and like a Mr. T, right? Like you're definitely getting real next level. Like when that last scene where they both stand up, and I said to Scythe, he stood up. I was like, this motherfucker. Like he looks like Tyson in the black trunks, bro. He's bulky. He's
fucking
built.
Kang, man.
He's got that gritty look to him. He gets up, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to get up and fight this motherfucker. I felt. You could see it in that line where he's like, I'm coming for everything. I was go. Like I was ready to, dude, I'm telling you, 9 out of 9.
Yeah. Real quick,
9 out of 9.
That was a great trailer.
Buttersworth says he points out that Henry Cavill is going to be the ghost of Tommy Gunn in this one.
Yeah, makes sense.
I tell you what, let me ask you this question real quick before we move on from Creed. What oh look, there's another little baby in the group. Let me ask you this question here. Is there a cameo from a wrestler in the middle of the movie fighting Adonis for charity? And who is that wrestler?
I hope it's John Cena.
Johnson
Oh,
just walking
Probably
out
John
like
Cena.
I hope it's Clubber Lang. I hope it's Clubber Lang and
I
he
don't know, man.
comes
Have you
on.
seen what Mr. T looks like recently? He
Is
is
it bad?
not.
Is it bad?
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
bad?
he's pretty bad.
Yeah.
They could
It would-
CG.
'cause-
They
Because
could
think about
CG
how
him.
dope. Think about how dope it would have been if like Clubber Lang, came on and he was like a trainer at a gym, like a low level trainer, right? And he looked at this kid and said,
He's
you
like,
know,
I pity the food.
I put it up. Oh, but like he literally looked at him. And he's like, I had my opportunity. I was a champion, and I let it go. And you can't do the same as me. And he puts him through and whatever. And he starts to, you know what, dude? I'm writing the next fucking movie. I'm in.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
it. That's your calling right there. We're writing scripts now. That's it. You heard it here, folks. First, folks.
Yeah.
Clover, what's your prediction for the fight? A prediction? Pain.
Bang.
Hey,
It's my favorite line of all Rocky.
That's a
It
great.
should. Buttersworth says MJF should be the wrestling cameo. If they
he
even
should,
do
he's
it,
almighty.
it'll end up being what's this guy Roman Reigns. It'll be John's boy.
Oh,
Roman Reigns.
Let's go.
That's the only thing that'll get John even more pumped about Creed 3 is if they
I'll tell
announce
you,
I don't
Roman
know
Reigns
if
is going to
anybody
fight
else
him.
could play Thunder Lips, the Ultimate Male.
as soon as you said Roman Reigns, something happened in my pants.
Oh, 6 to 12. 6 to
Man.
midnight. 6 to midnight.
Ugh.
No, overall, I'm excited to see. We all want Rocky in here, but how many years can Rocky like linger around?
I liked your point. I liked your point where it's like, hey, I'm gonna sell you this art piece, and then 2 months later, I'm gonna call you and say, can you sell me a corner of the picture back?
Right. That's not
I
bad.
just want it. So I
You swayed me. You swayed me. I'll go see this in theaters.
it's on Stallone as much
Didn't
as
take
it
much.
is.
I'm not disagreeing with that. My point is that I love the first two Creed movies.
They're
But part
fantastic.
of the reason,
Some of the
part
best
of the
boxing
reason why I
movies that have
love
ever
them.
come out.
yeah, Creed 1
Yeah.
overall, like for me, is probably
Creed 1 was
my favorite.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane how good that movie is.
Just
from
for
start to
that
finish.
first boxing match where they don't cut the
Yeah.
camera, the one
Yeah.
take where he
One-
just just
one
moving
shot.
around the camera.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's just fucking
Insane.
that's
Insane.
fucking good.
But the other thing that I liked the most about that movie was the dynamic between Donnie and Rocky,
Right.
right? And the same thing goes for number 2. Like the dynamic between Donnie and Rocky was a huge part of that movie. I don't know if we lose that now with having Rocky out of it.
We definitely
You know
do.
what I'm
I mean, we definitely do. But you know, you got to give.
Wow.
The thing is, Michael B. Jordan though, he's a fantastic actor. I mean, every movie he's in, every
Absolutely.
role he plays,
It's
you know,
insane.
I'm pretty sure he can carry the movie without Stallone. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm
And Jonathan
stunned.
Majors, like, come on, the two of them, they can carry this.
Wait,
movie.
who's Jonathan Majors? He's in this movie?
Kang the Conqueror?
Oh yeah,
No,
Kang,
just
yeah, yeah,
Kang-
Kang.
my bad.
I'm
King the
stunned. I'm
Conqueror?
stunned. Hot take, boys. You low key, you didn't hear this, but I did because I got ears, bro. You want to know something? I'm surprised that Zuplex didn't mention the fact that he didn't like the show because there wasn't a guy on his deathbed for about 7 movies. So
Ooh.
I mean, it's
Ooh.
he needs
Got
Rocky,
him.
cancer
Yeah.
patient, 7 movies in. I'm surprised he didn't say, you know what really chaps my ass, Lloyd? That Rocky just still isn't dying in this movie and the next and the next.
Well, there's
I
really-
love seeing this.
If you think
linger.
about it, there's no character arc. I mean, Rocky is still Rocky for the last 2 movies. You know.
Scythe, would you say that
So-
it's epic or nah?
It was an epic trailer. It was
Well,
an epic trailer.
If you think about it, though, this is the Adonis saga of the Rocky franchise. We had
Yeah,
the
100%.
Rocky saga.
Yeah.
Now this is the Adonis saga.
Yeah.
and
I
it
agree with
looks like he's
This is phase 2.
it looks like he's managing or training somebody who gets his ass beat by King the Conqueror. And maybe that kind of starts their conflict. Like he's just not agreeing
Yeah.
with his style of boxing.
Right. Right.
Is that scene paying homage to Rocky? Is that paying homage to Rocky 4? If you remember, Rocky is in Apollo's corner. Dolph Lundgren, right? He kills him, and
Yeah.
Rocky is
Yeah.
looking up. He's like holding his neck and realizing he's dead. And he's just looking up at what's his name, and he's looking down on him, kind of like you're next. Are they paying homage because now you see Adonis is doing the same thing? He's next to the fighter. He's
Yep.
looking up at his best
Yeah,
friend.
it's definitely the same.
You just killed this mofo. Like, You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay,
Yeah.
now
Well, I'm
it's
sure
my
that's
time.
how they're going to tie it into Creed 2 also, is that like Adonis learned through fighting Drago's son and through the history between him and Rocky,
Right.
um, like how shit can happen in the ring. And he doesn't want to see that happen to somebody else. And then when it does happen, now he's got to go and get retribution.
It's going to
for
play
the
out a
kid
little
that he was
differently,
training.
though. You know, in this movie, he's going to look up, and instead of Kang's character being like, if he dies, he dies, he's going to go, haven't I killed him before? Because, you know, Kang just does this. This is what Kang does.
Different variant. No, I think the way that they'll differ it is instead of him beating, I think of him instead of him beating Adonis, like in all the other Rocky movies, and they beats him first, and he comes back to win.
Right.
I think they'll have him beating other big fighters and getting belts, and
Right.
gaining tractions, which we've never seen before.
And probably
you
talking
know?
shit. Like, he's probably going to be calling out
Yeah.
Adonis the whole time and
Yeah.
just ignoring it
I'm gonna
and
beat
ignoring
this
it.
champion. I'm gonna
Because
beat
you have
every
that,
champion
there's that
until
one
I
shot,
fight you.
right? And there's that one shot in the trailer where Adonis's wife says, "Well, maybe you need to fight him." So it's almost like kind of like I feel like he's getting a little too what's the word, like big for his britches. Like his ego's just getting up there, and Adonis is like, someone's got to drop him, and then his wife's like, "Well, bitch, get out there and do something about it."
Drop him, sucker.
Sucker.
Listen, man, guys, it's been another dynamite episode.
Hell yeah.
Definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah.
We had a lot of finales today.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great shows. House of the Dragon, Ring of Power, She-Hulk. We heard Halloween Ends, blows Donkey Donk.
Don't even
you know what
bother.
I'm saying?
Delete Peacock
got-
if you have it. Don't even bother watching it.
Delete Peacock altogether. Don't mind the other movies you might want to see on there. Delete the whole
No,
streaming.
you don't need the whole
thing.
streaming thing. The
whole
other
streaming
ones will
thing.
eventually be on Netflix. Just delete Peacock. It's garbage. That's how bad Halloween Ends is.
I love it. But listen, we are grossly close to our first of many target numbers, many
yeah.
goals that we have as a group, as a family here at GGEN. We are hovering right next to that ultimate number for us to be partnered with YouTube. Guys and girls, hit that subscribe button. Help us get to our first of many numbers. We say it every week, right? We're just a group of regular guys like you, husbands, dads, hardworking dudes. We just get up. It's rise and grind every day for us.
Yes, sir.
And we're just sharing our passions here. And whether or not you got to relate to one of us. One of us clowns up here. You got to relate to somebody.
True. True.
Whether or not you need an epic show or a character arc, we got you somewhere. It's I could speak for the group. We definitely love doing what we're doing. So, Spartacris, One Shot, Scythe, Zuplex, you guys brought it here today, man. Thank you for everything. Theater Room 60 on and upwards for another 6,000. Spartacris, get us out of here.
Let's
kid.
go. Listen, if you haven't yet, just the way everything works, unedited, unaltered podcast will go up on Patreon. If you want to join in the chat, we're doing this live every Tuesday at 8:30. Keep an eye out for more podcasts coming out on Twitch. We'll give you guys a schedule as needed. The edited version will go up on YouTube. If you want time to catch up with the shows, give us about a week, and then you'll get our opinions there. We welcome the comments, like and subscribe, but most importantly, or equally as important, comment to let us know what you want to see from us and let us know what your thoughts are also, whether you agree or not. And keep an ear out for the Multiversal podcast. I think that's this weekend coming up if I have my timing down, right, Fred?
Correct. That is correct. And the Theater Room will be on all podcast channels as you watch them or listen to them, I should say.
And if you look around, we got merch. We got things going on Facebook. We have some surprise events that we're going to be planning. Another charity event at some point is going to be kind of happening too. So all over the place. Thank you guys.
Who wants some?
Thank
Who
you
wants
guys.
some?
I'm ready.
Who wants some?
I'm ready. We can
Come
just.
get
I want
some.
to do a retro
All right.
16-bit. A 16-bit head to head with
I
you.
tell you when we get out of here. You know, I tell you, Zuplex.
That'd be fun.
I pity the man. I pity the fool.
and with that, Twitch, GGEN, and YouTube, we're out, boys. I'll talk to you guys later.